Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. We left off at shloka number 212, where the disciple, the student, asks this question to the teacher: Hey Guru, O teacher, after negating these panchakoshas, these 5 sheets, eteshu kosheshu panchasu mityatvena nishedeshu, after you negate all of them, Sarva abhavam vina kinchit na pashyami atra. Hey Guru, I don't see anything other than the absence. O teacher, please, you shed some light on this. Kim vastu asti atma vipaschita swatmana vigneyam. By what entity, kim vastu asti, with what entity over here should a wise man, vipaschita, a wise man, realize realize one's own oneness with the Atma? How does one come to know? So this is the question. Now, the answer over here, teacher gives. Shri Guru Uvacha. Then, Satyamuktam Tvaya Vidvan Nipunosi Vicharane Ahamadi Vikaraste Tadabhavo Ayam Apyanu. Now the teacher over here, Satyamuktam Tvaya Vidvan, O student, yes, you have clearly spoken, you have spoken Rightly, Satyam, rightly you have spoken. Hey Vidwan, he is referring to the student as Vidwan. Nipunosi vicharena. Vicharena nipunosi. In the realm of thought process, you are quite dexterous. Nipunaha, you are dexterous, you are quite intelligent in your drawing this conclusion. You have thought correctly. And then aham adi vikaraha tat abhavaha ayam apiyanu. Teacher is saying that yes, you are right. This aham adi vikaraha, all of these modifications, ego, etc. Aham adi, tat abhavaha, their absence, ayam api anu. Yes, you are right. So he continues in the next shloka. In the next shloka, सर्वे ये नानुभूयन्ते यस्वयं नानुभूयते तमात्मानं वेदितारं विद्धि बुद्ध्या सुसूक्ष्मया. So teacher says over here that survey, all of this, yena anubhuyate, that by which all is known, that by which all is experienced, yaha swayam na anubhuyate, it by itself is not experienced. That by which we experience everything, it by itself is not experienced. So what teacher is saying over here, what is meant by this is, see, when we experience something, for example, right here, this is the phone. I experience this phone in my hand. So there is an experience of this phone. And my inner equipment acknowledges it. My senses were required, my mind was required, and my buddhi gave its decision. It recognized the object and says it is a phone. So all objects in this universe, sarve yena anubhuyate, all objects are known. The objects are clearly known, distinctively. The phone, the book, the bookmark, the pencil, the paper, the table, the light, the microphone, the necklace, all of these, they are known. And they are object of perception of the buddhi. They are object of perception of the intellect. The intellect knows. And this intellect, when it knows each one of them, this intellect distinctly knows them as this. And that is what is so unique over here. Yaha swayam na anubhuyate. So this Atma, it is not known as an object. That is what is said over here. Tam Atmanam Veditaram. This Tam Atmanam, this self, Veditaram, the knower, this Atma, by Veditaram, Viddhi Buddhya susukshmaya. What is mentioned over here, this Atma, it experiences all modifications. It experiences everything, including the quality of the intellect is also known to me. The intellect which knows the entire objective reality, all objects, all emotions and feelings, all ideas and thoughts, Atma can even objectify the buddhi's quality and texture of thoughts. Atma lends its awareness, without which the buddhi cannot function. And that Atma is to be known by a very, very subtle buddhi. Vidhi buddhya. You come to know by this buddhi, but what kind of buddhi? Susukshmaya. Very subtle intellect. Very subtle intellect. In Katho Upanishad, it is said, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atma na prakashate drushyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibihi. In Katho Upanishad, what is mentioned is this subtle self, it is not realized by this buddhi, because the buddhi, when it is under the influence of gunas, this buddhi becomes outward going. It goes towards the objective reality. Tikshna buddhi, sharp intellect. If a person has a sharp intellect, they will be able to understand finer nuances of astrophysics, some very subtle ideas in mathematics, non-linear algebra and this and that. There are very hi-fi topics. A very sharp intellect will be able to pick it up. But when we say subtle buddhi, what is a subtle buddhi? Subtle buddhi is when we take the attention of the buddhi which goes outward, we bring it inward. And in silence, we cultivate in a silent, quiet place, time. What we do is, without any distractions, external distractions from other senses, we lead this buddhi along the path which is laid down by our masters, by our teachers. And there is a process in which we make this buddhi subtle. We employ some mantras and repeated chanting of the mantra. The buddhi is alert. The mind is also alert. And the mind is engaged in chanting these mantras. After some time, the mind becomes silent. That silent mind, that silent intellect, then takes up a particular mantra from the Upanishad and it dwells upon the subtle ideas. And when it dwells upon the subtle ideas, it slowly itself starts becoming subtle. Subtlety of the buddhi meaning the pervasiveness of the buddhi. The buddhi becomes all encompassing. It is no longer objectifying objects, emotions and feelings, but it is trying to objectify the words of the Shastra. And in the process of trying to objectify the words of the Shastra, which cannot be objectified, what happens is the buddhi itself starts becoming subtle. It becomes more and more and more pervasive. Na jayate, na mriyate. So, not born. We take this, it is not born. We know the concept of birth. We know the concept of death. Now we are trying to understand that which is birthless and deathless. Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajaha nityam puranaha shashvataha etc. Unborn. It ever is. So we look at the world of this phenomenal objective reality, and everything we see is born. So we slowly reject it. Even when we look at mind, the emotions are born. There are certain times when I become angry, something instigated me, I become jealous. I looked at somebody else having something I don't have, and that was enough to invoke a jealous aspect of me. Some arrogance, some love sometimes, some compassion. So, even those are objectified. So, that is not it. Unborn. These emotions are born. And as soon as they are born, in due time they will also die. So I cannot be emotion. So, Bhagavan cannot be emotion. Bhagavan is beyond emotion. Bhagavan is beyond feeling. Then even the thoughts and ideas. I have good thoughts, I have bad thoughts. I have right thoughts, I have wrong thoughts. So Bhagavan is beyond thought process. Because even the thoughts are known. So Bhagavan cannot be a thought. Because thought also can be objectified. An idea can be objectified. I have an idea for writing a code in computer for doing something. I have an idea of making a bookshelf. Some thought comes, idea comes. So Bhagavan is also not an idea, because ideas, thoughts are also objectified. So, what is it that is unborn? It cannot be objectified. It doesn't have any gunas, because gunas can be objectified. It has no gunas. It is timeless. It cannot be born in time, it cannot die in time, so it is beyond time. Now when we hold on to this idea, the buddhi becomes subtler and subtler and subtler and subtler. And it remains in this state. but I'm aware of this buddhi. And in that very space, it reveals itself when all objective ideas, thoughts, notions, concepts drop. It alone remains as what? I am. I am. I am. That very sukshma buddhi allowed me to know I am. That is what is referred to over here, that vidhi buddhya susukshmaya. But I know as aham adi vikaraha, that I am. I know that I am as I am smart, I am not smart. I am angry, I am happy. This object is mine. This is not mine. So that I is qualified over here everywhere. The I is qualified with something. But when it comes to this buddhi comes to know, it knows exclusive awareness without any objectification. It is called objectless awareness. So it is not even some vikara of anything. It just is. It is. And the minute the buddhi says, I've known it, we put it in a time bound. I know it. But we cannot put it in a time capsule. It is beyond time. So I remain in it. I don't claim it. I remain in it. And I realize that is what I am. So through an extremely subtle intellect, realize the Atman, the knower, which is tam atmanam veditaram. You come to know veditaram, this knower of everything. You come to know that to be that which is beyond all modifications, ahamadi vikaraha te, tat abhave, even beyond all of them, in the absence of it, Atma remains. That is what is referred to over here as come to know that knower of everything, which is the principle of knowing. And this principle of knowing can never ever be objectified. We can never objectify consciousness. Because if I objectify consciousness, then I am something else which is objectifying it. The very fact that if I objectify it, I make it limited. I make it time bound. I give it some quality. That is why Mandukya Upanishad even goes to say, na prajnana ganam. It is not even consciousness. Na anta prajna, na bahish prajna, no bhayata prajna. Nanta pragnam, na bahish pragnam, no bhayata pragnam, na pragnana ganam, na pragnam, na pragnam. It is not an exclusive mass of consciousness. It is not consciousness. It is not unconsciousness. Then what is it? It just is. Its nature is awareness, yes. But if I try to objectify awareness, not possible. So it just exclusively is. It is. It is. It is. It is. It is. That is all it can be said. And in that abidance of isness, I know. So that isness is self-knowing. It does not require any other additional consciousness other than itself to know itself. That is why it cannot be objectified. If there were another consciousness, it would limit this one. Then this is not absolute. And if there was another one, then who knows that one? It will be anavastha dosh. Just keep on going. But consciousness culminates into knowing. When I say this is phone, it is knowledge. And phone sets it apart from all other objects. The knowledge culminates. It culminates into a precise understanding. And that is why it is absolute. It has to converge. It cannot diverge. It converges into a precise understanding. In the objective reality, it converges into a precise understanding. When I say phone, I know it is not a car. I know it is not a bus. I know it is not a room. It is not a house. In fact, I will negate the entire dictionary and only come to assert it is a phone. This is called convergence. Convergence of knowledge. So consciousness produces doubtless knowledge. Otherwise, every day if we have to go for work and coming back home, if we didn't converge into understanding, we will keep on going to different places for work and different places for home. That's madness. We know this is our home. We know this is our job. We know this is my responsibility. This is called convergence of Vidya. Vidya converges. And that is, the Adhar is Chit Chaitanya Gnapti Swarup. And Swayam Prakashate Anya Sadhanam Vina. It is self-luminous without any other instrument of knowing. That is the glory. It requires no instrument to know itself. Versus my ideas and thoughts, I require the buddhi to know. I need my mind to feel. I need my body to perceive. Imagine if somebody has the body, but the no eyes, no ears, no smell, no taste. It will be pretty scary. Sometimes if somebody is not, if they are born without the sight of seeing, The hearing compensates. Their touch compensates. They can feel someone immediately. Two people can be walking and they'll be able to identify whose walk. We cannot identify it because we have absolute dependence upon our eyesight and hearing. The person who cannot hear, they'll be able to, the other senses will compensate. So, the body has a dependence on Indriyani for Vastu Grahanam, for apprehending objective reality. The mind sprinkles emotions and feelings towards objects. Without this mind, we wouldn't do our job properly. Imagine the bird laying its egg and then rearing it. It has emotions and feelings for its little babies in the nest. This consciousness is, the play of it is incredible. So, this subtle buddhi is through which I know awareness. This is the only equipment of knowing. And we have to calibrate this equipment. That's why it is said Sukshmaya, Sukshmadarshibihi. Without the equipment being, the mind being calibrated, we will not be able to know Atma. And the process of calibration of the equipment is Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. For a long period of time, I think about what I have heard from my Guru, my Shastra, my masters. So this is how we cultivate Sukshma Buddhi. This is the only equipment of knowing we will ever possess. That is all. But right now, this equipment is not trained to know the self-luminous awareness. So it has to be cultivated. Continuing, next shloka. Tat sakshikam bhavet tat tat yadyate nanubhuyate kasyapyananya kasyapyan anubhutarthe sakshitvam nopayujyate. Yad yena anubhuyate tat tat sakshikam bhavet. See, yat, whatever, all that which is, yena, by which, anubhuyate, what is experienced, tat, that, tat sakshikam, that sakshi, that witness, that one which witnesses, bhavet. That which is witnessed by someone else, yad yena anubhuyate tat sakshikam bhave. That alone, whatever is experienced, that witness alone experiences all this. It is a silent witness of everything. This awareness lends its sentiency to the equipment of knowing. For us is buddhi. And this equipment, whatever it understands, tat sakshikam bhavet. If this is witnessed, it becomes the object of knowledge for the sakshi. The knower is the witnesser. So that is what is, that which is witnessed by something else has the later as the witness. So if I am witnessing phone, then I am the one who is the witness. I witness the object. That is what is said. Kasya api ananubhutarthe sakshitvam na upayujyate. When there is nothing to be witnessed, kasya api ananubhutarthe. So anything ananubhutarthe, when object is not known, when object is not experienced, when object is not witnessed, then what happens over here? Sakshitvam na upayujyate. Then we cannot say that it has been witnessed at all. And this is what happens in deep sleep state. In avidya, in ignorance. In the deep sleep state, nothing is experienced. And if nothing is experienced, then I can say I witnessed nothing. Nothing is witnessed. When nothing is witnessed, nothing itself is objectified. I say there is nothing. So what is there? Kevala sakshi. But without that sakshi, nothing cannot be witnessed. I hope I am not confusing too much. Basically, without sakshi, existence and non-existence both cannot be witnessed. That is what is said over here. I know when I witness something, but I also know when I don't witness anything. Not witnessing anything leads me to the witnesser, which can never ever be not witnessed. Purposely trying to make this simple. I don't want to use too many words, but without these words, I cannot explain. Only when I am, when everything ceases. I wake up early in the morning, I sit down, and there is no sound, and I'm able to go into this silence, and there are no objective reality projected by my buddhi. My buddhi doesn't project anything. My buddhi has become shantam, shivam, advaitam, has just become silent, quiet. And when I say Advaitam, I alone am. In that, again I use the word in, meaning locative, during that time, during that place, but there is no such time, place, because Sakshi always is. It ever is. But when I time and again make this journey inward, I get closer and closer and closer to deep, resonating silence, presence. And that silence, presence, one day is known as me. Chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigneya. I come to know as me. I am. And my amness never has a beginning. It never has an end. It just so happens that when my thoughts became silent, I came to know just like that. And once I come to know, I know. I never go back to being a non-knower. I always come to know as I am. I am. The peace that passeth all understanding. The peace ever remains. Nobody can steal it away. There can be a fight or a war outside, but I ever am. Unmoved, untouched. This is what Bhagavan is saying in whole Bhagavad Gita. Why are you worried? Nimitta matra vavasavya sacha. Just be an instrument. All that is, you think you are killing them? Maya hatena. They are already killed by me before your bows and before your arrows can even touch and kill them. And actually, I can never kill myself, nor can anybody. It is just the body is gone, bus. But they remain. Tatra kapri deva. Oh, why are you worried? So these are, contemplative shlokas. Yes, we can read this, we can read the commentary, but we have to create our own commentary on the inside to follow this. And that's what we are doing over here. Just some loud reflection on the words of Shankaracharya ji. He's trying to lead the student to this. No matter how much clearly Shankaracharya ji writes, he cannot create this understanding in the buddhi of the student. The student is going to have to make the leap from the words of Guru to the actual dawn of understanding. Between the words, understanding and anubhuti is a long leap. Because after understanding the words, we have to leave the words behind and go on this ride. That's all. Asau svasakshiko bhavo yatasvenanubhuyate atah param swayam sakshat pratyagatmana chetaraha. Yataha, over here, therefore, since asau swasakshikaha, this being the witness of itself, swa sakshikaha, it is a witness of its own self. Because there is no other instrument of knowing or instrument of witnessing. Over here we take buddhi to witness our thoughts, our mind to measure emotions, our body to perceive objects. But there is no equipment to know Atma. Atma, it is self-knowing. So asau swa sakshikaha bhavaha, one's own existence, bhavaha, its own existence, swasakshikaha, it is experiencing, it is, I cannot even say experiencing because then you will think it is experience, but it is not an experience. This is the limitation of language. Asau swasakshikaha bhavaha, one's own bhavaha, existence. Swasakshikaha, it witnesses its own existence. That means, is its existence objectified? No. Please don't think that its existence is objectified. All this is, it is. Svena anubhuyate, by itself, it realizes its own existence. That is what the first line is saying. This Atma knows its own existence. If I say this Atma experiences its own existence, then there is a time when experience starts and I'm experiencing, and a time where the experience ends. No. It is witness. It ever is witness to its own self without any equipment. And that's all I can say. I cannot say anything more than this. Therefore, ataha swayam sakshat param pratyagatmana nacha itaraha. Therefore, this pratyagatmana, what is this pratyagatma? The innermost self. What is this innermost self? Beyond the annamaya, beyond the pranamaya, beyond the manomaya, beyond the vijnanamaya, beyond the anandamaya. This light, whichever is inside, ever illumined, it ever is pratyagatman, param, sakshat. It is sakshat, absolute inner self. Na itaraha, it is not anything else. That is what it is. It cannot be anything else. It is. It is. The pratyagatma of Einstein, which has known the very nuances, the intricacies of physics, E equals mc squared, this, that, all of that, the very Atma that witnesses this subtle physics is the same Atma in a student which says, मुझे कुछ पल्ले नहीं पड़ता है, that I don't understand anything. The teacher's incredible, brilliant buddhi, and that poor student who sits and says, I don't understand. When he says, I don't understand, he understands that he doesn't understand. That is Atma. The teacher's Atma. And the student which says, I don't know anything, is the same. Na anyatha, that is what is said. Na cha itaraha, not something else. In all jivas, in all beings, it is only this Pratya Atma, nothing else. In that tiny little ant, Atma. In a giant elephant, Atma. In an intelligent college professor, Atma. A druggie, street, some hobo walking, madman, drunk in drugs and alcohol, Atma. 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 Nothing else. That alone is. When we complain, I don't know. I know that I don't know. When we complain, I cannot meditate. All that means is, try a little harder to give up sensory attachment. Bring mind in just a little bit more by some auto suggestions. If you don't like mantras, that's fine. Quieten the mind a little bit. Quieten the buddhi a little bit. And slowly we will be able to see. Indriyasyarthe ragadvesha vyavastito tayornavashamagachet tauhyasya paripantino. Bhagavan says, the enemy of raga and dvesha sits at the external peripheries of senses, which doesn't allow me to become silent. Arjuna, these are the enemies. Nothing else. In the peripheries where these raga and dvesha sit, they don't allow us to see. That's all. Raga dvesha vyuktestu Vishayanindriyeshcharan Atmavashya Vidheyatma Prasadamati Gacchati. Prasade Sarva Dukkhanam Hanirasyopajayate Prasanna Chetaso Hyashu Buddhi Paryavatishtate. Astita Prajna has removed Raga Dvesha Vyuktaistu Vishayanindriyeshcharan. For a wise person, he has neutralized these raga and dvesha. And indriya vishayancharan, let them go about like cows grazing in the pasture. Atmavashya vidheyatma, knowing that I am Atma, prasadam adhigacchati. What is this prasad? Buddhi prasad. What is buddhi prasad? When my senses come to bless me, that is called prasad. Truly, My senses are nipped from the bud phase of raga and dvesha. That's it. That comes to bless my buddhi as a quiet, still buddhi, and in there I'll be able to realize Atah param swayam sakshat pratyagatma nachet itaraha. Bas, there is only Atma, absolutely nothing. कुछ भी यहाँ पे नहीं है. Absolutely nothing. I get fascinated by the objective reality, and that same Chaitanya Chitswarup goes with the senses towards the object. It always is over here. It always is over here. It always is over here. Just did 4 shlokas today, my goodness. And the next shloka, Shankaracharya ji tells a story. It's a massive shloka of what Atma is. 4 points he makes in these 4 long lines about Atma. What more can be said? But he has things to say. That's why he's an Acharya. Because he's determined to make sure you and I get it. Imagine his compassion. We've not even reached half. We've not even reached half. This is glory of Adi Shankaracharya ji. We will see this tomorrow. Fantastic shloka he has composed. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve mitrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.